Hello, it's Ian Anderson Gray here for the Confident Live Marketing Show. This is episode 33. And this is interesting because actually I've already had episode 34. We had Steve Dotto on Facebook Live a week or so back, but we're going back in time for various reasons, and because this is going to happen before Steve's episode in terms of the podcast. So that's why it's all a bit confusing. So in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about New Year's resolutions. So have you ever done New Year's resolutions before? Is this something that you do on a regular basis? For me, no, I don't do it very often, and I'm going to share why, but also why I am going to be doing New Year's resolutions, or why I've definitely got a plan, or I'm going to be planning for next year, which I'm really excited about. So, if you are watching live, thank you so much for joining me in between Christmas and New Year for the holiday season. Let me know what you've been up to. Have you been eating far too much? Have you been eating mince pies and all that kind of stuff? Let me know where in the world you're watching from. And of course, if you're watching the replay, it's great to also have you here. I'm going to be transitioning into the podcast recording very, very shortly. But yeah, just to reiterate what I'm talking about today, it's all about New Year's resolutions. And yes, it's going to be about planning the who, the how, the what, and the where and the when in this show. It's going to be quite a quick show because, quite frankly, I've got lots of mad things happening today. I've got some friends coming over to stay. I've got to plan. We've got to sort the house out and all this kind of stuff. It's all a bit mad, but never mind. Right, okay, I think it's time to get on with the show.
Marketing Podcast with Ian Anderson Gray, helping entrepreneurs level up their impact, authority and profits through the power of live video. Gain confidence in front of the camera, confidence with technology, and confidence with the content and marketing.
Together, we can go live!
Hello, it's Ian Anderson Gray for the Confident Live Marketing Podcast. This is episode 33. 33, you can find the show notes at iag.me/33. Now, I'm recording this, or I'm going live in 2019, but when the podcast goes out, it's going to be 2020. And in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about New Year's resolutions. So I'd love to know whether you ever do New Year's resolutions. That'd be really interesting to know. So yeah, let me know all about that. Whether you do New Year's resolutions. But first of all, I'm really excited because we've got a new sponsor, and the new sponsor is Restream. Restream.io. Now, Restream.io is a fabulous tool that allows you to go live wherever you want. Multicasting, you can stream to multiple platforms all at the same time, which is really cool. So all you need to do is go to Restream, and you'll be given a special stream key, which you just put into your live video tool, whether that is Ecamm or OBS Studio, Wirecast, or whatever. And it even works with tools like our other sponsor, StreamYard, as well. So you can actually stream to StreamYard, and then StreamYard allows you to connect to Restream, and then Restream will then broadcast to all the platforms out there. There are so many different types, loads of different platforms that Restream allows you to stream to. There's a complete plethora of them. You can see on the screen at the moment, there's Periscope, there's Stream.me, there's YouTube, pretty much every single platform out there you can stream to. And they make it really, really easy to use. They've also got a very simple streaming platform themselves. So you can actually just use Restream themselves to actually stream to whatever platforms. You don't actually have to use a third-party tool like StreamYard or Ecamm or whatever. So definitely check out Stream. Definitely check out Restream. All you need to do is go to iag.me/Restream, and you can find out all about that. Great. Well, it's definitely time to get on with the show. I'm really excited about that, but I'm also excited about it being a new decade, 2020, which is amazing. And I am so excited about all the things that I'm planning on happening in 2020. I'd love to know from you what you're planning on doing in 2020. You know, have you thought about that? I had Janet Murray on the show a few weeks ago, and she was talking about how to plan your content for 2020. And she has this amazing media planner, which I highly recommend checking out. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But one of the things I've been really excited about, I wanted to share with you this year, is the fact that I've been able to be really consistent with my content this year. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. In the past, I've not been consistent. I've really struggled with this. This has been one of the big issues in my content, because I've created lots of really amazing content, but it's not been consistent. It's just happened occasionally. Now, I've still been able to do some amazing things with that content, with blogs and with live video, but I've not been able to create that consistently until I decided to do this podcast and the live show, the regular live show. And so I want to encourage you, if you haven't yet gone live on a regular basis, if you have not yet created your live video show, then 2020 is the year for you. It's the year to plan the content, plan who you're going to be broadcasting, who is your audience, when are you going to be doing it, and on what platforms are you going to be broadcasting. And then from that, you can then create all these other pieces of content from that live show. So having that as your central piece of content. So I've been doing this since May 2019, and I've been doing it consistently. The live show has been most weeks. Sometimes I've done 2 or 3 live shows in a week, so I've been able to then take some time off for a week or two while I've been maybe away on vacation or holiday. But the podcast I've been doing every single week. It's been 1 episode per week, and that's been really, really great. But maybe you've not been consistent. Maybe you've been struggling with that. Maybe you've been struggling with the planning. Maybe you don't know who your audience is. Maybe you're struggling with the technology, or one of those 3 main problems that people struggle with, either the tech or the fear of getting in front of the camera, or maybe the content. And I'm going to be talking about all of those things in this live show and podcast. So the first thing I want to talk about is, why bother doing New Year's resolutions? In the past, I've not bothered doing it. And the main reason for this is because I've tried to do it in the past and then I've given up. So the good example of this is going to the gym. So I've planned next year I'm going to get fit. So I go to the gym in January and everything seems to be going well. And then I have a bad day or a bad couple of days, and then I've given up. Excuse me. So one of the things that I talk to a lot of people about when it comes to New Year's resolutions is the fact that there is no real plan. It's, yes, okay, I'm going to get fit next year, but then what happens if things fail? If things you go to your gym, but then you have a couple of days where it's not working quite so well, and so you give up. What is your grand plan? What is your big goal? And so for me, the big goal really is to grow my audience, and to do that with the right audience, not just build numbers, but actually grow a tribe of people who really love my content, love what I do, and are the people that I can actually help. So I can produce content, I can produce courses for my ideal audience. And so that is one of the main things that I think people fail when it comes to New Year's resolutions, I suppose, in terms of your business, is that you don't know who your target audience is. And so that's the first couple of things I want to talk about. Is resolution number 1 is working out your why. Why do you want to create a piece of content? Why do you want to create a regular live video show or a podcast or a blog post? Why are you doing that? What is the point? And I was when I was creating this podcast, before I started creating the podcast, I came up with a plan. And so my summary of this show is, it's a regular live video show aimed at established entrepreneurs who want to level up their impact, authority, and profits through the power of live video, webinars, and podcasts. Why am I doing this? Well, I'm doing it for a number of reasons. Let me just find my reasons. Why am I launching the show? I've written down here. The number one reason is for brand awareness as a confident live video expert. I'm well known as in certain audiences, but not everywhere. And I want to increase my brand awareness as a live video expert. I also want to be able to promote my products, such as my academy, my live video tools, and my Confident Live marketing warm-up course, which is coming out fairly soon. I also want to build relationships with guests and with sponsors, and that's been one of the most amazing things about this show, is having some amazing guests on, and also building relationships with tools such as Restream and StreamYard and Ecamm. It's been great to do that. Also, to be able to repurpose that content into other types of content, to be able to expand my reach more. So one of the things I talk a lot about on this show is the power of live video to help you create all this other content. So you press that go live button, you go live, and you can use a service like Content 10x, which I'll talk about in a little bit, or you can do it yourself. You can make that into like YouTube videos or Facebook posts, a blog post, infographics, that type of thing. And so that's my main reason. That's my why. That's why I'm going live every week, and why I'm creating this podcast. And so I wonder what your why is. Why would you consider doing live video, or why are you creating any kind of content? So if you're watching live, you're watching the replay, let me know in your comments if you've worked out what your why is, whether that's for your business or for the content that you create. You need to have a why. If you don't have a why, then it's really time to take some time to work out what that is. Otherwise, you're creating content really for no reason. So that's the why. The next thing that you need to talk about, or the thing that you need to work out, is your who. Who is your audience? Who is your perfect audience? Now, some people call this your avatar. Some people talk this your perfect client, but who is your target audience? Now, for me, this is something I've thought a long time about, but I've worked out that my target audience are established entrepreneurs who already have an online-based business, but they want to use live video to help level up their impact and authority. That's been a big thing for them. They want to get their name out there, but they also want to be seen as an authority in their area. But they are really struggling with one of the three themes that I keep on talking about on the show. So that's either the fear of getting in front of the camera, or it could be the fear of the tech and the gear. So that's setting up the tech and the gear of the live video studio. Or maybe it's the content and the marketing side of things. I've also worked out demographically where people are. Now, I've said mainly in the US, but quickly followed by the UK. So it tends to be UK and US, but that does not mean that I don't have audiences in the rest of Europe or in Australia, New Zealand. You just got to have one kind of focus, and it's really good to have that in your mind so that when you're talking to the camera, you know, you have a kind of picture in your mind of who that target audience is. So yeah, and for me, the show's aimed at both men and women. I don't really have I haven't kind of segregated it either for men or women. I work with both men and women. I know some people, so for you, for example, you may only work with men, or you may only work with women, or you're very much focused on one side. You're not necessarily going to say no to one of the sexes there. So maybe think about that as well. So think about where in the world maybe they're from, the type of people that they are. In terms of the age or demographics, the age part of things, or the generation that people are from, for me, I'm tending to focus on Generation Xers and baby boomers, but I'm not going to say no to millennials and younger people as well. But my particular target audience tend to be Generation X and older. If you're younger than that, cool, it's great to have you here. So now this is an interesting thing. So then you need to think about what is the kind of the medium, the format that your audience like consuming. And this is a question that people have asked me a lot. Why are you doing a podcast when your topic is about live video. And that was a really important decision for me because I'm talking about live video. I totally see the power of live video. I'm going live now. This is a live video and I'm repurposing it into a podcast. And I'm also doing it as a live video because I love to have the interaction with an audience. Now, I'm not going to get an awful lot of interaction today because I've just gone live with about 15 minutes to spare. I mean, basically, I've done everything really, really badly today because I'm on holiday and we've got some friends coming around and everything's a bit mad. But usually I will plan it out and I will have a really good audience and be able to get some comments and stuff like that. If you're watching live, it's great to have you here. But yes, it's just one of those things. But for me, my target audience actually prefer podcasts because they're out and about. They lead very busy lives. Yes, they do jump onto to live video when they can, and they do like to get involved. But a lot of my audience are wanting to consume via podcasts. So that's my, I put a lot of effort into the podcast side of things. So think about that, but it doesn't mean that you just have to focus on one piece of content, one format. You can concentrate on other ones as well. And the great thing about live video is that you can repurpose it into lots of different types of content, and that's what I do. So I go live, but I also have a podcast and I have a blog post as well. So I've said at the end of that, over time, I hope that more of the audience, the podcast audience, will catch the show live. And really, it's the other way around too. So I hope that my live audience will then go onto the podcast. So they basically go both ways, which is great. So we talked about the why. That's resolution number 1, that you need to work out. You need to spend some time working out your why. Resolution number 2 is working out your who. Who is your perfect audience? Resolution number 3 is work out your where. And I've kind of covered this a little bit, but where do your audience hang out? So I've worked that out in terms of my who. They tend to hang out. They tend to like to consume their content on our podcast, but also on live video. But you may find that they like to hang out on Instagram for you. Maybe you've got a slightly younger demographic. Maybe they even hang out on TikTok, or maybe they're readers. They like to hang out and read your blog. So work out where they hang out on social media. Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it LinkedIn? And so for me, actually, I know that my target audience are mainly on LinkedIn. And so I'm going to be putting a lot more effort in 2020 into LinkedIn and LinkedIn Live. But maybe a little bit of Instagram too. That's something that I need to work out. Now, to begin with, you might find this difficult to work out. It may take you time to work out where your audience is, but you need to spend that time working out where your audience is. You need to nurture that audience. You need to spend time there. You need to, if you're doing your live show, you need to maybe put that live show on that channel where they're mostly at. Now, if it is LinkedIn, hopefully in 2020, LinkedIn will broaden out the number of people that have LinkedIn Live, and maybe they'll actually get it out of the closed beta or beta so that you will have access to it. Or if you're on Instagram, maybe you should be thinking about Instagram Live as well as another platform. So you need to spend some time working out where your audience is, where do they hang out, and focus on creating content there. You need to have one network that you're focused on, maybe 2, but it's so much easier to create content, high quality content for one network. If you spread yourself too thin, it's not going to be good. So the 4th resolution is your what. Work out your what. What kind of content do your audience want? Not what you want. And I've spoken to someone recently about this, and they were telling me about all the kind of content that they wanted to create. Yes, that's important because it has to be something that you enjoy doing. I love doing the live show and I love doing a podcast. I do sometimes, I like the results of blog posts, but I don't always enjoy writing them. I'm going to be frank about that. So you need to think about what you enjoy, but more importantly, it's about what your audience enjoys. what kind of content do they enjoy doing? So again, this is, do they enjoy live video? Do they enjoy podcasts? Do they enjoy blog posts? You need to think about the what kind of content in terms of the format, but then dig deeper than that. It's not just about the format, it's the kind of content. What kind of questions are you going to answer? Or do they like behind the scenes content? Do they like to have fun? So on Facebook, maybe they're going to Facebook to have a bit of fun, and so actually if you're creating some very serious posts on Facebook, they're not going to be that interested in that. So have a bit of fun. Work out the kind of content that they're wanting to do. How do you work that out? Well, sometimes it's by trial and error. Sometimes you'll need to create content and see which kind of content gets the most engagement. But the other thing you could do is just ask your audience. We had Andrew and Pete on the show a couple of weeks ago, and one of the things that Pete was talking about is actually phoning people up, or maybe it's just booking a Skype call or a Zoom call with people in your audience, people on your list. So maybe do that. Maybe have like a 10-minute conversation with a dozen people and ask them what kind of content resonates with them. Ask them questions. Ask them what they're struggling with in their business, and they'll give you loads of ideas for the kind of content that you can create. So do that. Make sure that you spend time every single month, every single week if you can next year. That should be one of your New Year's resolutions, so that you can work out more what your what is. What kind of content are your audience really wanting, and how can you make a big difference in their lives to answer their questions, and also to create this real joy in their hearts from the kind of content that you're going to create for them. So that's going to be really, really important. So it's time for my second sponsor, and this is really apt. I've already mentioned Content 10x on this show, and I mention them every single week because I'm really proud to have Content 10x on the show. Content 10x are the masters of repurposing content. Live video is a great format for this, because once you go live and you press that end broadcast button, you've then got a piece of content that can be repurposed into loads of different types of content, whether it's a blog post, that's something that I get done, or into a YouTube video, or into an infographic, or into social media posts. It's such a great tool to be able to do that, great format to be able to then get into all these different types of content. So Content 10x provide an end-to-end repurposing service. They'll take that live video after you broadcast, and they will explode it across the interwebs in a plethora of different content. They do so much for me on this show, and they do so much for all their clients. It's amazing what they do. And that allows you to save time to focus on your business. So you're not having to repurpose all that content yourself, or maybe you're struggling because you only have the time to focus on one platform, whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn. Well, they will take that content and put it on all the different types of platforms out there in a way that makes sense for that platform, which is cool. Now, if you want to do it yourself, you can learn from them. As I say, they are the masters of repurposing. You can check out their blog. They've also got a podcast, and Amy Woods has now got a book, Content 10x. Amy Woods is the CEO. She's the founder of Content 10x, and it's an amazing book. I've got it on my bookshelf over there. I'm in the middle of it. It's awesome. So all you need to do is check out content10x.com, and you can find out all about how to repurpose, and also you can get them to do it for you, which is really, really cool. Okay, just a couple more resolutions before I finish today. It's a bit of a shorter show today. The next thing you need to work out, we've talked about working at your why, your who, your where, and your what. So the next one is working out your how. This is getting more into the geeky side of things when it comes to live video, the tech side of things. How are you going to broadcast your live video content? Are you going to use your phone? Are you going to go live from your computer? What tools are you going to use? Are you going to start off really super simple, which is what I always recommend? So start off on your phone. Do some behind the scenes content, just go for a walk and share your thoughts, or maybe repurpose a blog post into a live video really simply from your phone. But then you can use tools from your computer. So you could use a tool such as StreamYard or Ecamm Live, or the new sponsor of the show, which is Restream.io. They've got a really cool service that allows you to broadcast from your browser now. So check out all those tools. And if you go back to the beginning of this podcast, basically the first 10 episodes, I go through loads of tech and gear. I make it really super simple for you. So check out those episodes in 2020 so that you can learn how to broadcast, how to level up your impact using the technology of live video. But don't overcomplicate things. Keep it nice and simple, and work out where you're going to be broadcasting and how you're going to do it. Do you need to get some extra tech? Keep it things simple, but maybe getting a nice webcam or a microphone is going to add a little bit more professionalism to your live shows. So that's another thing that I want you to work out for next year. You've worked out your why, your who, your where, your what, and now you're working out your how you are going to broadcast your live video content. And if you need any help with that, just get in touch. Just go to iag.me/contact and you can find out more about that. Now, the next thing that you need to work out is your when. When are you going to go live? This is a tricky one, and one that I'm still actually developing. I'm going to be honest with you. It's something that I'm constantly tweaking, and actually you probably will have to continue to tweak. When in the day, which day of the week are you going to go live? Or when are you going to be posting your content on your blog or your webinars or your podcasts? Now, for me on my podcast, I've already sorted that out. It's Friday. I always upload it to go live 8 o'clock in the morning, UK time, every Friday. So if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, all you need to do is go to iag.me/podcast and you can subscribe in your favorite podcasting app. But for live video, it's a little bit more tricky because you want to go live when everyone else is watching, when your people are watching. I've got Jeff C watching, so Jeff C is watching. That's great to see you, Jeff. So if you are in the UK, but you've got an audience in the US, then going live in the morning in the UK is not a good idea. Jeff would be in bed, for example. But if you want people in the US and the UK, then the afternoon or the evening. If you're in the US and you want to have people from the UK, then don't make it too late in the day. You've got to work those things out. For me, I found sometimes in the evening, so 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the evening works out really, really well. I get so many more people watching live than I will do at this time, which is 3:30 in the afternoon. But we live in the real world, and sometimes you'll find that that's just not going to work with your schedule or your family life. And so for me, I've had to just have a compromise there, and I just go live in the afternoon for me most times, or in the evening, sometimes if I have a guest from the US who can't make in the afternoon. So that is your when. You're going to have to tweak this out. You're going to have to tweak this and test this over time because it takes time to work that out. And it's the first few times that you do this, maybe even the first dozen times, you may not have many people watching you live because you're just starting out, or maybe you've just not got a big enough audience to let people know. And you're not doing what I've done today and just gone live with 10 minutes, 15 minutes to spare and just not tell anyone on your list you're going live. So I've done that for a particular reason today because I want to create this content quickly for my podcast. But usually for a live show, you'll want to let people know in advance. Make sure you do that. So that is your when. You've worked out your how and your when. Couple more things just as we finish. The next thing you need to work out is your content plan. So I highly recommend checking out the episode that when Janet Murray was on. It was a couple of episodes ago. I think it was episode 30. So if you go to iag.me/30, you can listen to that, and there's also some show notes there. So check that out. She talks about how or why it's so important to plan your content for the whole year. Do that in advance, even if you don't know exactly what you're going to be doing in December next year. You should have an idea, a plan. That may change, but make sure you do that. And one of the best ways of doing that is using a planner, using a diary or calendar. Janet Murray's got an amazing media diary, which I highly recommend. You're still not too late to order your copy of this. Just go to janetmurray.co.uk. And if you use the coupon IAG20, IAG20, you can get 20% off your media planner. So definitely check that out. And I'm in the middle of planning my content out for 2020. And so you're definitely not too late to do that. So you could use your live videos as that central piece of content. And then from that, you can create all the other types of content out there. But remember to go back to your why. Why are you doing this? And so you need to be planning out, maybe you're launching a course in February next year. So what are you going to do? What kind of content do you need to create in order to promote that content in February? And actually, February is already very, very soon. So you need to be kind of putting out content very quickly about that. So the final thing I want to talk about is really being confident. How do you gain confidence, and how do you communicate confidently with your audience? And really, that's with small steps. It takes very, very small steps every single day, going live regularly, using tools like Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok if you really want, but just making sure that you're doing that every single day. And I've got a whole podcast episode on how to be more confident and some warm-ups that you can do. And if you go back to one of those episodes, I will find out what episode that is in a second. But basically, if you do that, if you go to iag.me/3, iag.me/3, that's how you can communicate with confidence and how you can warm up your voice. I've got a course coming up in January. It's a downloadable MP3 with some videos all about how to warm up your voice with confidence. So if you want to find out more about that, all you need to do is just send me an email. Just send it to ian@iag.me and just let me know that you're interested in finding out more about that confidence download. But also, I'm going to be doing a 6-week masterclass with my good friend, Jeff C. And this is going to be much more hands-on. We'll be able to hold your hands through the process of creating a live show. We will be talking about all the things I've been talking about today, such as working at your why, your who, your where, your what, your how, and your when, and also planning your content and getting more confident with your live videos. So if you want to know more about that, all you need to do is go to iag.me/live video 101. And there is a webinar that we did recently, which will give more information about that. So I'd love you to do that, and let me know if you're interested in finding out more about that. But I think that's it. That's all I've got to share with you today. I would love to know what your New Year's resolutions are, if you have any. And if you haven't, if you decided not to do New Year's resolutions, then let me know. Why? Why aren't you doing them? Are you a bit like me in the past, where you just be a bit grumpy and you say, you know what, I'm not going to do any live video. I'm not going to do any resolutions when it comes to live video or going to the gym or whatever. Let me know. But until next time, I encourage you to level up your impact, authority, and profits using Confident Live Video. See you soon. Bye.
Live Marketing Podcast with Ian Anderson Gray. Be sure to join the community at iag.me, where you can continue to level up your impact, authority, and profits through the power of live video. And until next time, toodaloo.